Hello, if you're considering doing the second year for the academy work, I highly recommend it, especially if you're a healer. That's my work is healing work. It gave me a huge skill set. It's not just skill sets to use with clients, but really how to work with clients, using clients for your personal growth. People come to you anyway when they have different issues, and they'll be mirroring and triggering certain things inside you, whether you voice that or not. And the academy work for the second year particularly gives you really quick insight into what that's about, and about to unravel that inside yourself and integrate it inside yourself. So the next time you see the client, it's a different story. It's quite a different story. So the main things that I worked on during that second year was, first of all, was depression. So my psychology wants to always go to dark places. It wants to go to depression, dread, anxiety, rage, anger, and shame. That's where it wants to be. And Jason told me that not to judge those things as wrong. That was the biggest problem I was having, was I was judging these things as wrong. Essentially, I didn't understand what those emotions, or why the mind kept going there, because inside of that is needs not being met. It's personality archetypes that are always showing up all the time when there's not enough flexibility to move into other archetypes. And essentially the wisdom of those emotions not known. And that was a big part of the year. So the first part of the year was a deep depression, and Jason got me to stay in it, to write it, not try to drink my way out of it, cover it up, medicate it, whatever. Was to stay in it and see how the sessions with my clients go deeper, and they did. I was able to sit with depression in clients who were in a borderline suicidal, and just hear their story and not be pulled into it, not be emotionally triggered by it, and all sorts of things. And then after about maybe a month and a half of that, just every day, I do my work. I don't think people even knew I was depressed when I was doing my work. And then Jace took me through a process in 5 minutes, got me out of that depression. It was incredible. It was actually going into the depression further and seeing the fruits that's inside of it, and that was crazy. My mind, there was a aspect of my consciousness walking inside the cave of depression for days, it felt like, and it was just wonder, absolute wonder. Because in the academy, the depression is the place that the mind goes to when it wants to work out answers, why things happened. Essentially, any question you could ever ask for your development can be found inside depression, and that's its gold. So I'm not afraid of depression anymore, and you know, I'll go into depression within the certain frameworks within the academy, the exercise, the tools that we have. I'll go into depression for the answer, because that's where the friggin' answer is. It's not in love and light, it's in depression. I'll go in there and come back out. So that was the first part. Then about a month later, so I live with dread every day of my life. It's all upbringing stuff and all sorts of stuff, but the academy teaches that these things are, it's not just your upbringing that's the purpose behind the emotions that keep showing up, especially the big emotions, is not just your childhood. So Jace has a very different spin on that, and I found that extremely useful when he dropped that bomb on us. What those emotions maybe were really about. So the dread every day, live with that. And then I woke up one morning after doing quite a lot of introspection work, the academy work, and no dread. Looked down inside myself, there's no dread. It's like, wow, that's the first time. And that left for maybe 6 months. Then it come back for a short period when my mind needed to make some changes. So I see dread now as the dread showing me where I need to make a change, and it's showing me quite obviously I need to make a change about this thing here. So that's dread, and it comes back every now and then, and I can address it, and it's gone within a day or two. Not have to be there for the rest of my life. That in itself was enough for a level the second year. So the dread, anxiety was always there. I hardly experience anxiety these days, and I welcome it if it comes. I welcome it because it's got something. It's saying you need to address this thing here. Anxiety in the academy is a wisdom detector, and once you address and make actions towards that thing that's causing you anxiety, it makes a change inside of you, for one, which will help people around you, but that anxiety drops off again. So it just shows that when you work with anxiety and not just resist it, it gives a lot of fruit for soul growth. Anger is the next thing. Anger and rage, big things in my life. But cut a long story short, I got very triggered at my old work where I was at by someone I've become quite close to, like in a friend way, and she triggered me in a way from the most smallest. The smallest thing that she did, it triggered me like I've never been triggered in my life, and absolutely intense rage. I did sessions with people in the academy to help out why is that so triggering for me, and I saw that was linked to other people in my life with a similar mirroring, that sort of stuff. Seeing excessive obsessive compulsive thing that's inside me, to a degree, not as blatant as this woman. Yeah, so I was like, okay, this has brought up intense rage. There's huge emotion here. There's huge energy. What are we going to do? Jason's always telling me you need to open up your own business. People with clients been telling me for years, open up your own business. Never wanted to because I could not be stuffed dealing with the finance part of it, the management part, the business setup. I just wasn't interested. It's like I want to do healing work. I don't want to do stupid bullshit admin, which is what I thought at the time. Now I'm like, oh, that's a dumb way to think. And it's just a fear-based thing. And because I was so afraid of it in the academy, the fear is what you use to show you which direction to go. Because when you move into your fears, number one, requires courage to build up inside, which is what you need for personal growth. And the thing you fear, it means that you'll feel uncomfortable. There's something that you need to go and integrate inside, and because it's unknown, it generates that fear. And once you move into it, become more familiar with it, becomes a larger circumference that your life can feel into now. So you become a bigger you. Essentially, fear is helping you to become a bigger you. So I use that intense anger, rage, all those emotions to help me create the business that I now run, and it's working out like crazy. I've got bookings till the end of this year. We're in January now in 2021. I've got bookings till December this year. I go back to work next week and I'm already 2 weeks booked out. I was 3 weeks booked out when I first opened the clinic. Had 123 bookings before I even opened the clinic. So the anger is just a lot of energy, and I was directing it all towards my diary, towards my personal growth with my healing work. And now inside myself, there's a freedom that I've never known before. And my work, my healing work, is me. My business is me. So in a way, it helps keep me accountable for making integral choices, for keeping developing, really having my mind and heart in the right place for my clients, and for me as well. And what I'm noticing is that boundaries are always pushed upon by people in pain, and that's normal. But whereas before I would be very poor with boundaries and people pleaser and all sorts of things, I'm noticing I just say no, I can't do that, sorry, because in the end clients would want me to work probably 14 hours a day. And that's not good for me. That'll make me sick. So I do about 10 hours as it is, and if I can't treat the person, there's a lot of other things inside that when I can't treat people who really seem to urgently need my help. So I just refer them on, and it gives me a lot of insight about my own way that I deal with my own health problems and things like that. It's like when someone urgently needs you, it's not always that urgent. There's the need inside. There's like this fears, like something's really wrong with my body. That's been happening for a long time generally. So that person they're expecting me to rearrange my entire diary in my life to accommodate them when they weren't able to get on top of something months, sometimes years before. It's like that's the lesson they're learning. They need to look after themselves more. So that's part of the process that I'm learning, and that'll trigger some people what I just said. But there's some truths in healing and working with the physical body, and that's one of them. Don't let things build up for a long time. Yeah, I hope that helps.